Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Florida. Each early state is a critical step on the road to the White House. We wanted to get a lay of the land right now. NBC's political reporter Domenico Montanaro is hitting the highlights of the ground game for us. Okay, Mr. Montanaro, let's start with Iowa.
Okay, Chris, well, first of all, I just want to say I don't own and never have owned a pair of parachute pants. So let's just put that out there right away with MC Hammer.
This is shocking to me, but I'll get over it. Let's move on.
Iowa is a must-win for Michelle Bachmann. She won Ames, but has really faded since. Her New Hampshire team all but quit on her last week and told them we're all about Iowa right now. So that's really where we're at with Iowa. And remember, only 2 of the last 5 people who've won Iowa have actually won the nomination. So, it's not always indicative of who becomes the nominee, but it can give momentum to important second-tier candidates, Chris.
And let's go to New Hampshire.
So in New Hampshire, Mitt Romney, this is a must-win state for him. Mitt Romney owns a home in New Hampshire. He was a governor of a state that bordered it. So, Mitt Romney really has got to do well here. He's the heavy favorite. If he doesn't win, it becomes difficult to see what the reasoning is for his campaign going forward.
Number 3, South Carolina.
In South Carolina, you look at someone like Rick Perry. He's a Southern governor. The state fits him pretty well. He's got to do well there if he wants to hope to be able to compete with Romney and maybe have some momentum going into Florida. And the key to South Carolina, unlike Iowa, every person who's won South Carolina since 1980 has gone on to win the Republican nomination.
And like Ohio, which we were just talking about, another incredibly important state, Florida.
Well, Florida, look, obviously important, very close in general elections. And we're going to look at somebody like Herman Cain. Herman Cain leads in our latest NBC Marist poll, but Herman Cain has very limited infrastructure, very limited campaign team, and not a lot of money. And the thing a lot of people might not know about Florida is that it's a TV state. And what do I mean by that? You have to have a lot of money to run a lot of ads in a lot of markets that are pretty expensive to advertise in. That's not something that Herman Cain has right now. And that's why people look at Rick Perry and Mitt Romney as the 2 people who really have the best chance probably in Florida. And if this thing is a long delegate fight where, let's say, Perry wins Iowa, he wins South Carolina, and it shapes up to be Mitt Romney versus Rick Perry in Florida, well, Florida is the state that could decide the Republican nomination, Chris.
So, let's figure that out, because what does history at least tell us about the nominating process? How long does this process usually go on?
Well, it can depend. Sometimes a candidate can win Iowa and New Hampshire and have this thing over with very quickly. But last time around, we saw 2 fights that kind of went on a while. John McCain didn't clinch till March or so. Barack Obama certainly didn't clinch till June when Hillary Clinton finally decided to get out of the race. So it can be wrapped up early. If somebody like Mitt Romney, for example, goes on and wins Iowa, which is possible, goes on and wins New Hampshire, then all this stuff becomes moot and we wouldn't even be talking about it. But, history has shown a mix. Last time around it went long. This time around it's indicating it could go long if a Romney alternate emerges.
And we should also say that on this date in 2007, do we have this poll? Leading the polls was Rudy Giuliani, followed by Fred Thompson, and then the eventual nominee,
national polls, our pollsters like tell us all the time they don't matter. What matters are those early state polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. That's what matters. These national polls are sometimes just a popularity test.
Domenico, good to see you. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Chris.